Hi guys, don't you just love that card? So we're going to make that card today. What you will need is a piece of basic black. This one here is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, fold at 4 1/4. You're going to need a piece of the silver foil. This one here is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And then you're going to need a piece of Very Vanilla. This one, same measurements, 5 1/4 by 4. And then 2 pieces of Very Vanilla. One is a scrap piece you're going to do some stamping on. And then another piece I measured out. This one is 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. So we will be using 2 stamp sets today. This is the new Cling stamp set Crackle Paint. This is out of the Occasions catalog. And it is a big background stamp. So it's a pretty good size here. We also will be using Home to Roost. This one is free in Celebration. You can get this free with a $50 purchase, and this is free until March 31st, 2019, or while supplies last. The inks today that we will be using will be Crumb Cake, Mossy Meadow, and Memento Tuxedo Black. So I am bringing in the Stamparatus to use on with the Crackle stamp. So what we're going to use is, I have these small grid papers. You can get a pack of 50. So because we're going to use this stamp here and it's foam based, we're not going to use the foam mat underneath. So you're going to put down your grid paper. Now I just marked here in this corner so I know where to lay my sheet. So you're going to use one of the plates. And we're going to go ahead and take out the silver foil sheet, and you're going to place that right on your paper. Like I said, I kind of have it measured out here. So because I'm not using a magnet, I cannot use a magnet with this. So I'm going to lay this on top of the foil sheet, and you'll see why I have it measured out in a minute. So I'm going to pick this up, and then this, if this moves at all, so when you place your stamp down, if this happened to move, you can just go ahead and easily realign that up. And then just make sure your paper's pushed into the corner. So with this, I'm just going to take my stamp set. I'm going to put it underneath so that I have a flat, even surface to work with here. And then you're going to take your Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and you're just going to ink up your Crackle paint. Once you have this all inked up, you're just going to want to make sure your paper's all aligned here. And because it is going to be stamped on the silver foil paper, it can smear. That's why I like to use a Stamparatus, because once I lay it down, I'm not going to move it. It's not going to move. Where on the block, you may smear it on the block. So once you're all ready to go, just go ahead and stamp that down. And make sure you give it a good press evenly throughout the whole stamp. Once you have it all stamped, you're going to pick it up and it's going to be stuck. I like to take a pair of tweezers because I don't want to take my fingers and kind of move it and smear it and then pull it right up. So it'll look like that. This is all wet and it's going to take a long time to dry. We don't want to dry it completely, but I am going to take my heat tool and I will heat it up for about 2 minutes. So once you've dried it with your heat tool, then you're going to take a piece of paper towel and you're just going to rub off your ink. And it gives it that nice little distressed look, and it's almost faded on there. It's just enough. It's really pretty. I don't know if it's so hard to pick up because there's that glare on there, but once you do that, you just want to go ahead and set that aside. We are all done with the Stamparatus. We're not going to use that again. We're going to go ahead and take our piece of Whisper White that measures 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to want to lay it down so your 4 1/4 side is facing you this way. You're going to want to bring in your Mossy Meadow ink, and then you're going to bring in a sponge dabber, and you're just going to go ahead and pick up some ink. Start off the paper first and then on your paper, and then just kind of go in a circular motion. And you're just going to do this about halfway up your paper, maybe about a quarter of the way, halfway to a quarter, in between halfway and a quarter up your paper. So once your color is all done, then you're going to bring in your crumb cake ink. You're going to take the grass out of here, and we're going to stamp that all along the bottom of this green. So the reason why we have this cut at 4 1/4, you actually want to cut it down to 4, but because your dabber leaves kind of a dark edge along here, I didn't want that on my project, so I'm going to trim a little bit off on each end so it evens out to make this measure out at 4 instead of 4 1/4. So when I trim both these ends, I also trim the top, so I'm real close to the grass here. So now we're going to bring in our other piece of Very Vanilla, the scrap piece, and you're going to take this rooster and you're going to stamp this out in Memento Tuxedo Black. So when you stamp him out, you want to make sure that your stitch shape framelit, this is the 3rd smallest, you can cut that out. So you want to make sure you give yourself enough room at the bottom when you stamp him out. So then you're just going to want to go ahead and cut him out with your Big Shot. So you're just going to set him aside. We're going to finish up our last bit of stamping. I'm going to take just a note out of here. I'm going to stamp this down in Memento Black ink. So then you're just going to bring in the classic label punch, and you're just going to punch that out. So then I'm just going to bring in the watercolor pencils and my blender pens, and I'm just going to color this rooster in. So I'm going to use Real Red on his head. So up here on his top part here, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to color it all in with Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to bring in Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to kind of color in the pumpkin pie closer towards the bottom here. And then the very bottom, I'm just going to outline these lines with Real Red. And then his tail here, I'm going to use Pacific Point and Old Olive and just kind of, you know, fill them in here or there, kind of mix it up. And then down here on his chest, I'm going to do mostly Old Olive and then some specks of Pacific Point in there. Now you're going to take your blender pen, and this is where all the fun comes in. So he looks kind of weird right now, but you're going to take your blender pen, and I'm going to start up here in his head and just kind of blend in the red. And then you can wipe it off to run it clear. And then you're just going to come in, and I'm going to start here with the yellow, fill in all this yellow here, and then slowly start coming into the pumpkin pie, and you can see how it blends in, and then blend into that Real Red. So you can blend those colors nicely. Then I'm going to clean it off again, and I'm going to come down here on his bottom and just mix and blend that. And then last but not least, his tail. Just going to blend those colors right in. And then don't forget when you're all done to kind of rub your blender pen back and forth to run it clean. So now we can go ahead and bring in all of our pieces and start to assemble this cute little card. So you're going to take your basic black, fold it in half, and of course you guys know I like to use my bone folder to give it a good crease. Then you're going to take your silver foil, and you're just going to apply that to the front. Use any kind of adhesive that you would like. Then you're going to take your grass here, and you're going to lay this right on the front of the card. And you're going to use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to pop up your rooster. So I kind of popped him up along the bottom here. And then this, just a note, I'm just going to use adhesive to put this down. So this one here, I've gone ahead and I've just put this up at the top here. And then don't forget in this inside, you want to put your piece of Very Vanilla. And that's it to that card. Super simple. Look how pretty that is. So I hope you guys like this card. So I hope you guys are taking advantage of Celebration. Again, the Celebration items for free only run through March 31st, 2019 or while supplies last. So I hope you guys enjoy and you're getting your free items. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment what you liked about it or what you didn't. And also share this with your friends so they can make this card. Please subscribe below and don't forget to ring that bell. I also offer a newsletter that I would love for you to sign up for. You will get 30 free card ideas just for signing up. Thanks for watching.